Hello and welcome to G-Fun Facts Online, where we unpack the science behind the headlines. Today, we're diving into a topic that was once confined to the shadows of counterculture but is now stepping into the bright light of clinical science. We're talking about psilocybin, the psychoactive compound found in what are commonly known as magic mushrooms. For decades, the mere mention of this substance conjured images of the 1960s, not sterile laboratories and patient recovery. But a profound shift is underway. A renaissance in psychedelic research is revealing the incredible potential of psilocybin to heal some of the most challenging mental health conditions of our time. This isn't about recreational use. It's about rigorous, controlled, psilocybin-assisted therapy that is emerging as a powerful new tool and a beacon of hope where traditional treatments have often failed. So how did a substance once so vilified become a potential savior in modern psychiatry? Let's find out. The story of psilocybin is not a new one. It's ancient. Its use is deeply woven into the fabric of human history. There is evidence from around the globe suggesting its role in spiritual and healing ceremonies for thousands of years. Some researchers point to rock paintings in Western Australia, possibly over 10,000 years old, as depicting ceremonial mushroom use. In Mesoamerica, the connection is even clearer. Civilizations like the Aztec, Maya, and Olmec revered these fungi, which they called Teonanacatl, or flesh of the gods, using them in sacred rituals to commune with the divine and heal the sick. But for the Western world, the story begins much more recently, in a lab in Switzerland. In 1958, the brilliant chemist Albert Hofmann, the same man who first synthesized LSD, became the first to isolate and synthesize psilocybin from mushrooms. This was a monumental breakthrough. It allowed scientists to study the compound's effects with precision, and the initial results were staggering. Early research in the 1950s and 60s explored its potential to treat conditions like alcoholism, end-of-life anxiety, and depression, with promising outcomes. But just as this research was gaining momentum, the cultural and political tides turned. The psychedelic wave of the 1960s, while culturally significant, linked these substances with rebellion and anti-establishment movements. A moral panic ensued, and governments around the world clamped down. By the 1970s, psilocybin was classified as a Schedule I substance in the United States, a category reserved for drugs with no accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. This designation effectively slammed the door on scientific inquiry. For nearly 40 years, the therapeutic promise of psilocybin lay dormant, a lost chapter in the history of medicine. But now, that chapter is being reopened. Faced with a global mental health crisis and the limitations of existing treatments, scientists have begun to revisit this powerful compound, fueling what we now call the psychedelic renaissance. So what exactly is this therapy, and how does it work its magic on the mind? Psilocybin-assisted therapy is a highly structured, medically supervised process. It's crucial to understand this is not something one can or should ever attempt to do alone. The protocol is carefully designed to maximize safety and therapeutic benefit, and it typically unfolds in 3 key stages. First, there's preparation. This is perhaps the most foundational phase. Over several sessions, a patient builds a strong, trusting relationship with 1 or 2 trained therapists. They discuss the patient's history, their intentions for the experience, and what to expect. This isn't just a formality. It's about creating a psychological safety net. The patient needs to feel completely secure and supported before embarking on such a profound inner journey. The second stage is the psilocybin session itself. The patient receives a carefully measured dose of psilocybin in a comfortable, controlled, and often aesthetically pleasing room. They might lie on a couch, wear an eye mask to block out external stimuli, and listen to a specially curated music playlist. The music isn't just background noise. It's an integral part of the therapy, designed to help guide the emotional arc of the experience. A therapist remains with the patient for the entire duration, which can last from 6 to 8 hours, offering reassurance and support without directing the experience. Their role is to be a calm, grounding presence. Finally, and most critically, comes integration. In the days and weeks following the session, the patient meets with their therapists to talk about the experience. The psilocybin journey can be incredibly rich, complex, and sometimes confusing. Integration is the process of making sense of the insights, emotions, and visions that arose. This is where the real therapeutic work happens, translating the profound experience into lasting changes in thought, behavior, and perspective. The integration phase is considered absolutely essential for the long-term benefits of the therapy. But what is happening in the brain during all of this? When you ingest psilocybin, your body converts it into a molecule called psilocin. Psilocin has a similar structure to serotonin, a key neurotransmitter that regulates mood, perception, and cognition. It primarily interacts with a specific type of serotonin receptor called the 5-HT2A receptor. Activating these receptors is what triggers the profound changes in consciousness that define the psychedelic experience. Landmark research from institutions like Imperial College London and Johns Hopkins University has used fMRI scans to watch the brain under the influence of psilocybin. The findings are fascinating. They suggest that psilocybin works by temporarily disrupting the brain's default mode network, or DMN. The DMN is a network of brain regions that is most active when we are at rest, daydreaming, or thinking about ourselves. In conditions like depression, the DMN can become overactive and rigid, trapping individuals in repetitive, negative cycles of thought, like a record stuck on a sorrowful loop. Psilocybin appears to quiet this network, allowing for a state of what scientists call increased entropy, or disordered thinking. This sounds chaotic, but it's therapeutically powerful. It's like shaking a snow globe. By disrupting those rigid, well-worn neural pathways, psilocybin creates an opportunity for new connections to form. It dramatically increases the brain's neuroplasticity, its ability to learn, adapt, and rewire itself. This neurological reset can help a person break free from deeply ingrained patterns of negativity and see themselves and their problems from a completely new and more compassionate perspective. This brings us to the incredible therapeutic applications being uncovered in this new wave of research. The results, particularly for treatment-resistant conditions, have been nothing short of remarkable. Let's start with depression. Several major studies have demonstrated that psilocybin can produce rapid and sustained antidepressant effects. A pivotal study from Johns Hopkins University found that just 2 doses of psilocybin paired with psychotherapy led to large and significant reductions in depressive symptoms for adults with major depression. The most astonishing part: for many participants, these effects lasted. A follow-up study found that the relief was sustained for up to a year for most patients. Think about that compared to traditional antidepressants, which often require daily use and can have significant side effects. A 2023 meta-analysis that pooled data from 9 different studies confirmed a large, statistically significant effect in favor of psilocybin for treating depression. Then there's the challenge of end-of-life distress. For individuals facing a terminal illness, the existential anxiety and depression can be overwhelming. Psilocybin-assisted therapy has shown an extraordinary ability to alleviate this suffering. Studies have found that a single session can dramatically reduce anxiety and depression in cancer patients, leading to an improved quality of life, a greater sense of peace, and less fear about death. In one trial, these profound benefits were sustained for over 2 years for many participants. The therapy doesn't just treat the symptoms. It often changes a person's entire relationship with mortality. Addiction is another promising frontier. Modern studies are confirming what researchers suspected back in the 1960s. Psychedelics can be a powerful tool for breaking addictive cycles. Research on psilocybin for treating addiction to tobacco and alcohol has shown very promising results, helping individuals gain new perspectives on their substance use and find the motivation to change. While research into post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, has largely focused on MDMA, psilocybin is also being explored. Its ability to help individuals revisit traumatic memories within a safe, therapeutic container may allow for emotional release and a reduction in symptoms. Beyond the clinical data and brain scans, it's the personal stories that truly illustrate the transformative power of this therapy. People who have undergone treatment often describe their experience as one of the most meaningful of their lives. One participant in a depression trial described how the experience helped them cultivate a deep sense of self-compassion, moving from a lifetime of harsh self-criticism to one of self-acceptance. Another, a patient grappling with end-of-life anxiety, spoke of finding a profound sense of connection to the universe and coming to see death not as an end, but as a natural part of a larger journey. Clinicians who were suffering from burnout and depression after working through the COVID-19 pandemic reported that the therapy helped them reconnect with their purpose and feel a renewed sense of gratitude for their lives and work. These aren't just minor shifts in mood, they are fundamental shifts in consciousness and perspective. Now, with all this promise, it is absolutely essential to talk about the risks and the path forward. Psilocybin-assisted therapy is not a panacea, and it's not for everyone. The experience itself can be psychologically challenging. While often blissful, it can also bring up difficult emotions, and some people may experience transient anxiety or paranoia during the session. Physical side effects can include headaches, nausea, and temporary increases in heart rate and blood pressure. The most significant risk is for individuals with a personal or family history of psychotic disorders, like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. For these individuals, a psychedelic experience could potentially trigger a prolonged psychotic episode. This is precisely why meticulous screening and the presence of trained professionals in a controlled setting are non-negotiable. Safety is paramount. The legal landscape is also a major hurdle, though it's beginning to shift. In the United States, psilocybin remains a Schedule I controlled substance at the federal level. However, a powerful movement is happening at the state and local levels. Cities like Denver and Oakland have decriminalized personal possession. More significantly, states like Oregon and Colorado have now legalized the supervised therapeutic use of psilocybin in licensed facilities. Globally, Australia made waves by allowing authorized psychiatrists to prescribe psilocybin for treatment-resistant depression. This psychedelic renaissance is still in its infancy, but its momentum is undeniable. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, has granted psilocybin a breakthrough therapy designation for treating depression. This is a big deal. It's a status designed to expedite the development and review of drugs that demonstrate substantial improvement over available therapies for serious conditions. So what does the future hold? Ongoing research is focused on refining treatment protocols, understanding the long-term effects, and exploring psilocybin's potential for an even wider range of conditions. As science continues to illuminate its mechanisms and benefits, the hope is that psilocybin-assisted therapy will soon become a safe, legal, and accessible treatment option for the millions who have not found relief through conventional means. We are witnessing a paradigm shift in mental health care, a reunion of ancient wisdom and modern science. This renewed exploration of a powerful plant medicine, guided by careful, rigorous research, has the potential to revolutionize how we understand and treat the mind, offering a profound new path toward healing and human flourishing. Thanks for tuning in to Fun Facts Online. Well, see you next time.